Hi, everyone. Brianna Monique Alvarez, the CEO of Alma Publishing, and I'm so excited to be here today with some of the contributors of Sacred Redesign. Oh my goodness. So congratulations to each of you. You are now international bestselling authors. We have hit the list in Australia, UK, Canada, and the US. So, and we're going to bring Silke on as well. So the very first thing that I would love you to do is just to go around and tell us where in the world you're joining from. So Terry, let's start with you.
Terry Silverman, Los Angeles.
Asha.
Asha Sapaya, Canada, Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. Brad.
Brad Walsh, Toronto, Canada.
We got two in the house, and I just have to say, you two Canadians, like you have totally rocked it out. Canada is typically a hard market for us because Canadians are so polite that they won't actually post. And while I love your politeness, it has led me to, kind of visualizing this type of thing. So you two absolutely rocked it out today. Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly Gilmartin from Seattle, Washington.
Awesome.
Just down the way.
Down the way. And Jennifer, happy belated birthday. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So kind of close to Seattle. Few hours away.
Yes, we got a cluster going. And Sabrina?
Sabrina Rumbach, Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. And Silke?
Silke Harvey, Seaham, UK.
She's in the UK. Oh, yeah. And I'm so proud of our UK contributors because they also rocked out a very tough market. And I am so excited because I've got this burly tree planting man joining me today. Thanks for joining me, sweetie. Derek Alvarez also has his chapter in Sacred Redesign. So and we're in colorful Colorado. So I would love for you now to talk about why you chose the story you did. I'm sure you have so many stories you could have pulled from, but when you thought of the title and the subtitle, why did you pick the one you did? Terry, I want to start with you. Oh, did she freeze? Okay.
So being in this book, I recognized that it absolutely was an opportunity to help people. Mm. And so the story I picked was really one of the toughest times in my life. And it's about what I've learned about fear and adversity. And also, I just think this is such a time where there's so much fear and adversity in the world. So I thought that's what I could contribute. And when we tell our stories, it so makes us feel not alone.
Mm. So true. So true.
And then, since I am a writer and a writing and a story teacher, that of course I did include some writing guidance for stories and some prompts based on the theme that I wrote.
Of course. I don't know how you couldn't do that. Terry is my writing, acting, all things full self-expression guru and teacher, champion, cheerleader, an overall ray of sunshine. So thank you, Terry. Asha, tell me why you chose the story you did.
So for me, I actually shared several stories in my chapter, but the main theme that I talked about was authenticity. And really why I chose that as my main point of my chapter was when I saw the title Sacred Redesign, I really thought about how there's just, if we really want to actually impact the world and make a difference in this world, we need more people stepping into the truth of who they are in order to actually create success. And so what I've seen is that in my life, I've learned the hard way. And I don't want people to have to learn that same way, that I had to learn how to go out, step away from society's standards and for what society places on you as rules, right? For me, as a person of color, as the child of immigrants, there were a lot of different societal pressures, as well as just growing up in society today, right? That there were so many different rules and standards I had to live by. And what I learned was by actually stepping into the authentic version of me, I was able to create so much more success. And I've seen that time and time again from so many leaders in this world, that is the key to success. And I really wanted to show people that is the path to impact. That is the path to actually transforming the world. And for me, that is my guiding light. And that's why I wanted to share that in this book.
You know, one of the things that really struck me when you sent over your Facebook reel is your statement was, what is the cost of inauthenticity? What's the cost when we're not being who we really are? And that just, just grabbed a hold of me. It's so true. It's like we get more and more of ourselves every day, and there is a huge cost when we don't. So thank you for sharing on that.
Of course, my pleasure.
Brad, what about you?
I chose to share, I guess, like a bird's eye view of my life from growing up, being raised by women, my mom and grandmother, basically, and just how when we think we've got everything all planned out and figured out, we end up on a completely different route. I'm in a place now where I never in a million years dreamed I would ever be like part of a collaborative book and co-producing a book with you and host of a podcast and hosting women's empowerment conference. I never in a million years dreamed I would be here. I always thought that photography was my thing, my passion. That was my first love, my first passion. And that was my goal, that I wanted to leave the corporate world and jump into photography full time, which I did. But then the universe had other plans for me, and it just took me in a complete different direction. And it just goes to show that you don't have to follow the societal standards that we are conditioned with, where you've got to go out, get a full-time job, go to school, get a full-time job, get married, have kids, and get, the whole thing. We don't have to do things that way. So I just wanted to share and show that I never in a million years dreamed I would be here doing what I'm doing. So you never know what can happen in life.
You never know. And that was one of the things I loved about yours and I even wrote you, I said, oh yeah, I felt the same way. I never would have dreamt in a million years I would be here doing this. So life is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Kimberly, what about you?
Oh my gosh. I'm so grateful because this opportunity came about because of another opportunity I said yes to, which I also never in 100 million years ever would have seen myself saying yes to another book project that's happening. And my chapter is about connecting to your heart, connecting to your own inner beauty and everything that you are, because it's really only through doing that we are able to quiet and calm ourselves enough to connect with the all of us. And it's through that connection that we can create abundance and bliss and joy. And I, like all of you, have been through my life, ups and downs, and I'm a mom, and the last couple of years have been tremendously difficult for a lot of the teens, my own 2 teens and some of others. And it has always pained me to see people going through such hardship and trauma, because we have the answer right here inside of us. And if only we could teach people when they're younger to really understand that we're all here together. And it just takes learning how to connect to yourself to be happy, no matter what's happening around you. And so my chapter, the story that I chose was an odd one, I think, but it's really about an experience I had encountering my guardian angel. And I am not crazy, but I actually have been blessed with experiences of meeting angels, even the ones that look like storybook angels. And I've never taken any psychotic drugs in my life, and I don't really drink, so I am sane. And I just wanted people out there to realize that there are forces, including every one of us, out there working with us, for us to have this beautiful journey. And it doesn't have to be awful. It can be beautiful.
Yes. And Kimberly, remind me of your natural number.
I think I'm a 4.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, you are such a true 4, such a true 4. And the reason you and I are here is because we're in another book together. And I messaged you after a session and I said, you were just like the brightest square in that whole Zoom screen. And when you speak of angels, it's like, I just want to remind you that you are such an angel for so many people. So thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Because I yeah, I feel blessed to be connected to this community and you and what you're building. I think I said it to you on the first time we met. Like, I feel like I've found my peeps. So thank you for letting me be and thanks you for inviting me in. Thanks to this beautiful work.
What about you? What led to your story?
You said Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
Cut out for some reason on my end. Yeah, a lot of my chapter is really about resiliency. And when you shared this opportunity with me, I immediately felt called to be part of this because so many people, especially within the last couple of years, have awakened to this call to something greater for themselves. And, the opportunity to impact others as well. But so many people have this vision and then they don't take action, right? Mm-hmm. Based upon fear or unhealed trauma. I mean, there are just a whole number of reasons why they might not take action. And so I really felt called to share more about my own journey from childhood up through being a young adult and then leaving my corporate career and starting a business, because I definitely didn't come from what traditional society would view as a conventional background. So I really wanted to illustrate for people that anything is possible and that you're empowered to choose.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Beautiful.
Sabrina, what about you?
I actually come into this opportunity because we are in the same high-level entrepreneur group together. My chapter actually is taking from a talk that I did for a leadership certification program. I'm in medicine. I think one of the biggest things that we forget nowadays is how do we use networking correctly? It's not the false belief of we're just go out there and talk about who we are, but it's to create that win-win situation. And how do we collaborate? It's how we can attract A players to us. There are so many people, amazing people out there, but not all amazing people meant for each other, meant for each other's culture, meant for each other's ideas, mission. And therefore, even within your circle of your business, your collaborating partners, the people who are next door, and you meant to have who you want to attract and become that magnet of someone of be able to great talent toward you. And at the same time, understand that you do have to create that boundary of safety for all the amazing key players in that circle, and therefore be okay to repel those ones are not serving you, because you don't want to ruin the community that you have built. And just because who we are, we can show up authentically, it doesn't mean we have to be liked and to be appreciated by everyone. We just need to be able to get appreciation for the right people. So I wrote about 5 steps on how do we really get to that point to be that influential person for our peers, for our collaborators, and how do we tap into the next level of the leadership authenticity of who you are, as what Asha had mentioned, and be okay to sit in that and then be loved by those piece of you. And then that's how you represent yourself. And what do you do? What do you say? How do you listen? How do you give that feedback? I totally believe it's not about creating conflicts when you do have to let someone go. It's actually just having a difficult situation, and you get so much more benefit on the other end.
So good, Sabrina. Silke, what about you?
As soon as I got the email inviting me into this book, I knew I had to do it because of the title, Sacred Redesign. I mean, I'm the queen of redesign. I think I'm a chameleon by nature. I've had such a varied path. I mean, I've gone through transitions in my life from rock and roll bass player to corporate financial translator to energy healer to now publisher. So and I think I know a thing or two about redesigning myself. So it's been actually very difficult to pinpoint down exactly which transition I wanted to write about. But then I decided on the most recent one, which is when I discovered the Slavic goddess Baba Yaga. And she is like the dark side of the goddess, the wild side of nature, but she also represents women in the second half of their lives who are wild, who are free, who don't take any nonsense from anybody. So I felt very drawn to her at one point, especially as I am entering the second half of my life. You know, all the changes are starting to happen. It's undeniable. I'm entering the crone stage. So yeah, I came across it in a goddess workshop, and we were all asked one day to draw cards to see who our personal goddess was, and she came up for me. So I started doing my research, and I just got fascinated because she represents every woman who is past what people would say their prime, because that's what society always says, you know, when you're past 50, you're past it. But that's so not true, and she embodies all that. She shows people that you can have fun, that you can be wild, you can be free, and you can do whatever you want. In fact, being older gives you that freedom of not caring at all what people say, of not having to go by beauty standards, and you don't have to worry about any of those things. So the freedom that comes with it is something I totally relate to, because I know when I look in the mirror, I've got like a 51-year-old woman looking back at me, but inside I still feel like that 15-year-old kid. I still walk around in t-shirt, jeans, and trainers, you know. So yeah, I was just so fascinated by that, and she put me on this journey of accepting myself in this second half of my life. And in fact, I now feel that is the best part of my life, and everything good is yet to come, and it can only get better from here, because now I can actually enjoy what I'm doing with the wisdom that comes with getting a bit older, you know, the wisdom that we don't have to care, the wisdom that it doesn't matter what other people think of you. So it's just such a liberating feeling and such freedom. And that's why I decided to write about how I found the Baba Yaga.
I love it. The Baba Yaga. Yeah, when you sent me your reel too, I was like, oh, Baba Yaga, what are we going? I love it. Created so much curiosity for me. I want to remind everyone you can get Sacred Redesign on Amazon worldwide. So if you haven't picked up your copy, feel free to get it. I'll also put the link in the description. Last but not least, let's wrap up with Derek. Tell us, you have produced a lot of books for us and other people. Why was this the book you decided to tell your story in?
Well, we started off pretty much exclusively with females, so women. I think I'd have to look back, but
yeah, I think
a lot of the books have been 100% women. So, and then you started letting
Brad
some men.
Yeah,
Brad was in this. I was like, well,
Martin, yeah,
okay, I could be in it. So, but I format the books, and I was reading the chapters, and I just got inspired to share my story too.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you did. I love how, you know, just like our lives, every single book takes on a life all of its own. It's like it evolves, and we pull different people in and different concepts. It's like we have a starting point, but then the end is so much richer and fuller. So, yeah, Brad, there's a comment. How does it feel to be surrounded by so many beautiful women? So
you're in the middle there.
Right.
Yeah, it feels incredible. I mean, this is what I grew up around, so it's nothing new for me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is how it always is for Brad. He's always doing this.
Yeah.
I want to thank each of you for sharing your story and really honoring not only yourselves, but each other, because every single book, it is so special because of the connections and the relationships and the interactions that happen between the contributors. So I hope you'll take some time to celebrate yourselves and each other. Here's to honoring and blessing that sacred design that we have all went through. We are redesigning day by day, and we're saying yes to what's coming next. And as Brad said, if you never expected you'd be here, That's okay. Sometimes life is so much better than we could ever plan it to be. Until next time, we shall see you on the other side. Go to Amazon.com, get Sacred Redesign. Cheers to each of you. See you soon. I got to go eat my beef Wellington.